We've had a plan in place, and we've already started. Had virtual meetings already today with the guys, so we're rolling. We plan to have a great week of preparation, and we plan to be ready to play the game on Sunday. What questions do you have?
Hey, John, this is Jameson from ESPN. First of all, Marlon announced that he had the positive test. Do you know how he's feeling? Also, when did you learn of the positive test? And under the new protocol, how does this week work as far as preparation? How it will be different?
I don't know how he's feeling. I learned of it this morning, first thing at about 6 o'clock. And the way the week will work is we will meet virtually, and we'll practice normally.
Virtual meetings already today?
I don't know what that was. Was that a question, or was that a... Okay. We'll let it go. It's a glitch.
John, this is Jeff Rebeck. I actually missed that. I don't know what that sound was. The last I heard you say is the way the week will work, we will meet virtually. And I just was
okay.
Hoping you could finish that.
Right, we'll meet virtually, and we will have practice as we always do.
Hey, John, Jerry Sandusky, VAL. Does the league protocol dictate the number of days you have to meet virtually?
Yeah, it's going to be all week this week. I mean, that's where it stands. Just as an extension, they're in the process of doing the contact tracing, wherever that might lead us. We'll see. We're pretty optimistic about that at this point, but you never know. I mean, it's 2020, so we'll take it as we find it. But I will say that the way we've kind of gone through this is we've done our absolute best to adhere to every protocol, and we try to keep our focus not on that. Our focus on doing the protocols and focusing on the responsibility, which is to get ready to play the game.
Hey, John, this is Kyle Barber of Baltimore Beatdown. Over the past 2 weeks, your team has been called for 21 penalties for 240-plus yards, while your opponents were a combined 6 penalties for only 50 yards. I know the mantra is you can only control what you can control, but does this feel a little bit lopsided? Is this something that you've maybe brought to the attention of the league?
It doesn't just feel lopsided. I mean, it is lopsided. We try to look at every penalty individually. We coach our guys. And that's really all we can do. The rest of it is out of our hands. I know you said it's a cliche, but it's also a reality. And we're not going to worry about that. If things get called that we don't think should have been called, it really doesn't matter. We just got to overcome it.
Hey, John, it's Luke Jones with WNST. I was wondering if you had any more details you could share about Ronnie Stanley. Is he going to have surgery? I mean, just... what kind of prognosis is it for him long term?
Right, looks like surgery on his ankle, and it looks like a good prognosis long term. I was even told he'll probably be back in May for OTAs, but that's a long way away, so you'll probably quote me on that. But that's obviously there's a lot of time between now and then. But that's what I was told yesterday.
Hey, John, this is Aaron Cousins at Penn Live. We saw last week that Marlon was absent from practice on Wednesday with an illness. Can you explain kind of the process of him coming back? Was he feeling ill at all the rest of the week? Or why did you guys, I guess, allow him to practice and play?
I don't know if he was feeling ill or what he was feeling, but I know he tested positive completely through, so we followed all the protocols, like I said, to a T with that. And he had positive or negative tests every day, so that's why he practiced.
Hey, Coach, Todd Karpovich, SI, you had said yesterday this is where our season begins, and it's pretty apt because you're going to the toughest part of your schedule, with the teams you're going to be competing for playoff spots with. Is that sort of the message this week, kind of back to your idea of stacking wins and starting with the Colts?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, straightforward. Let's go, and we're excited to play the Colts this week. It's always a tough place to play there. They're very good at home always, and they've got a very good team. So it's a big challenge for us, but we're a good team, and we're looking forward to it.
Hey, John, this is Childs at the Sun. We had the two sort of controversial calls near the end of the game yesterday, the hit on Willie, and then the question of should they have added more time. Did you get any more information on either of those from the league, and did you have any further thoughts on them after watching the tape?
Well, I mean, it's there for everybody to see. So, what can I add to it? You know, conversations I had with him, I probably prefer to keep to myself for practical reasons, and it really doesn't matter what I think. It matters what they think. I do take to heart some of the things that were said by, you know, the guys that have done it before. You know, the Gene Sterators and Terry McCauley's. Who talk about those things. So I respect those guys and listen to what they say and try to learn from what they say out there. But other than that, I'm just going to let it go and leave it alone. It was very disappointing. Obviously, as I said last night, I'll stand on this. The Ravens players deserve to be protected, just like every other player in this league deserves to be protected by the player safety rules and by every other rule. So that's all we expect. We just expect it to be fair, and that's all we'll ever ask for.
Hey John, this is Daniel Oyabusi from the Baltimore Sun. I just wanted to ask if you had any update on Tyree Phillips, as well as do you expect Mark Ingram to return to practice this week?
What was the second part of the question, Daniel?
Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram, right. Okay, let's start with Mark. I do expect him to practice, but I don't want to, put my name. I don't want to sign that just yet because I don't know for sure. It's turned into a little more of a slight high ankle toward last week as far as the symptoms. So we'll just have to see about that. And then Tyree has a high ankle, so I'll know more after an MRI to see how severe it is. And sometimes guys can go with those if they're not severe. So we'll see how that plays out and probably have more information as the week goes on.
Hey, John, this is Jameson again. With Lamar, obviously no one will question his effort. But on some of the turnovers, do you think it might be a case of him maybe trying to do too much sometimes, whether it's holding the ball a little longer or making a throw that might not be there? Do you ever, when you're watching the film, think he might be just trying to do too much to help the team?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that'd be kind of an all-encompassing kind of a statement, probably a little oversimplistic. But when I watch the tape, I think a lot of things. Based on what the play call is and the coverage and what I think the quarterback or any other player might see. I try to make note of that, and we try to talk through it with our guys. So bottom line is that turnovers are the thing. I mean, there's nothing that tilts the scales towards success or failure in football more than turnovers, getting them and not committing them. So we have not done a good enough job with that of late. That's something that we had done a really good job of up until recently and throughout last year. So we just got to get a handle on that. We have to be a lot better with protecting the football. That is a number one priority for us going forward. It always is, but it needs to be a lot better than it's been.
Hey, John, this is Jonas Schaefer with the Baltimore Sun. I know you're not an epidemiologist, but with the incubation period for COVID and Marlon having spent so much time around the guys who weren't wearing masks, in the locker room, on the field yesterday, I mean, how much, how unexpected or how kind of complicated could these next couple of days get for you guys?
Well, I'm gonna go back to the first qualifier in your question. I'm not a what?
Epidemiologist?
Yes, that. I think I could have said that. I like to think I could have. So I really don't know. I mean, the protocols are in place. The league is that's all defined in terms of how many days, in terms of what they consider to be close contacts, and those kind of things. So it's a 5-day window for close contacts to test positive twice. We don't know who the close contacts are at this point. They're going through that right now. We have a lot of technology to determine that, certainly. So we'll know more on that throughout the course of the day. Marlon, I believe, is on a 10-day window, so he'll be out for this game. That's clear, and we'll just have to deal with that, just like it was just an injury. So, but the rest of it, to your point, is a really good question, and I think we're all waiting for the answer on that, and we're just going to approach it like we're business as usual in a different kind of way, and we'll go to work.
Hey, John, it's Luke again. With Marlon being out on Sunday, I wanted to get your thoughts on how Terrell Bonds did his first NFL action, and clearly your guys' secondary depth being tested right now.
Right, right. Well, we do have good depth back there, and it is being tested. We're losing Tavon kind of, brought us back a little bit, but then now with Marlon, and I thought TB did a good job. He played well. He made some tackles and flew around and did a good solid job out there. So that's good to see. And we've got Khalil Dorsey's another young guy that can play. So I really feel confident with those guys. I think that, well, as a defense, got a good hole out there, and I do believe the young guys are going to step up and play well.
Coach, Todd Garbage from SI, in that same frame with the offensive line, is this maybe an opportunity for Bredesen maybe to get some reps or to work his way into there, some playing time? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he'll be active if probably regardless. It looks like Tyree situation. We haven't put that together exactly yet, but he's been in the mix before. So, Ben Powers, I'm sure, will be a big part of it. Pat McCarry played well in the game. So we'll just roll with the guys we got. We like those guys. We really do, Todd. I mean, I feel like those guys, young guys, played well. Most of the game was without two starters in there. So I really feel like those guys did a good job yesterday.
John, this is Jeff Zrebeck. A little off that. Does with tackle depth now? I mean, most of the guys we're talking about are primary interior guys. Not that they couldn't play tackle, but do you feel like you need to get that swing tackle piece, whether it's Will Holden or somebody else, on the 53-man in time for Sunday?
Right. Well, yeah, we'll consider that throughout the week. We won't have to do anything until Saturday, but we'll consider our options there. Those are the obvious options that we have right now, Jeff, definitely. So I don't know which way we'll go on that yet. We'll just have to figure it out as the week goes on.
John, again, sorry, Jeff, two-part question. One, have you had a chance to talk to Matthew Judon about yesterday and have any more thoughts about how that situation played out?
Right.
Go ahead. How well Jalen Ferguson played.
Right. Okay, I start with Jalen. I thought Jalen played another really good game. He was set the edge really well, and his rushes were really effective against Ben. I thought he pushed the pocket very well. Matt, I talked to Matt briefly. I asked him about it. He said it wasn't intentional. He's trying to break free. I think anytime you're in a situation where, you're being held, your arms are being held back, it's a pretty natural response to try to break free, maybe to protect yourself. That's what he expressed to me. Certainly wasn't swinging at anybody. I did watch the video just now. Chad showed it to me. I couldn't see it on the coach's tape, but he showed it to me before we started the press conference, and that's exactly what he told me happened. Is what I saw on the video. So I take him at his word, but I also saw it. There was no intentionality there at all. And that's what I saw.
Anyone else?
John, this is Jameson again. As far as Lamar, do you feel that he is close to being back to where he was last year? Obviously, he feels like he knows where he needs to improve upon. But after being a 4-turnover game against Pittsburgh, he's facing a lot of criticism out there. I'm sure you understand. Do you feel he's close to being back where he was last year?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't even know. That's such a almost impossible question to answer. It's just too vague, Jeff. Jameson, I appreciate it, but it's a question that paints you in a corner. It's like, what does it even mean to be close to back to where you were last year? It's just a real general question. So, I was telling the team recently about my grandpa Bill Harbaugh, and maybe I guess I'll bore you with it since you asked the vague question. I'm going to give you the meandering answer. How's that? And the meandering answer is this: my grandpa Bill was a terrible driver. Okay, now when we were kids, we used to go visit him in Crestline, Ohio, all the time. Grandpa Bill and Grandma Marie Harbaugh. And they had a 2-bedroom apartment. It was like 4 bedrooms across. Next door to him was the Godfrey's, which was Marie's sister Curly, and they and then back they had this like garage, this old wooden facility had like 4 spots for 4 cars in this old broken down white building. They had as a dirt floor and basketball hoops on either end. And I noticed in Grandpa Bill's spot it was all beat up, like wood was broken, paint was scraped off. It was kind of crooked. The whole thing was kind of crooked. And I asked my dad, as a kid, what's the deal? He said, Grandpa's not a very good driver. And okay, so I got it. He can't get in and out of the garage without hitting the sides. then shortly thereafter, my dad noticed that Grandpa's car didn't have a rear view mirror on it. And he asked him, he said, Dad, how come you don't have a rear view mirror? And Grandpa was kind of a gruff guy. He said, what the hell do I need a rear view mirror for? I don't need to know where I'm coming from. I need to know where I'm going. So that's my answer to your question, okay? We need to know where we're going, and that's what we're going to work on, going forward. How about that? You like that? I see some smiles. I see Aaron's not smiling. He's kind of a cynic, kind of maybe. Now he's smiling. Now he shrugs his shoulders. He's Bob Woodward over there. He's always looking for the deep story, I guess. I don't know.
That's exactly right.
Hey, John, it's Mark Viviano. If I could ask a question real quick. In this unusual year for everybody, when the guys are there, you obviously are able to monitor what they're doing, how they're interacting. When they're away, there has to be trust. Have you gotten any indication that there'd be reason not to trust any of your players to take care of themselves given what's at stake?
That's a very good question, Mark, and I would tell you the straightforward answer is no. Our guys have, to my understanding, have basically gone home and gone to bed and gotten up and come to work. They've done a great job of that. I really believe that, and we've talked a lot about it. They talk to each other about it all the time. No one more than Marlon. I mean, Marlon he's all football all the time. He gets on the social media. He likes that part of it, and the fans love that part of it with him. But that's about what he does. So I think that I think that the thing we understand is that really this can happen. It can happen to any of us. Any of us can be in a situation where you can just be in a circumstance where you can be exposed to it, and even the doctors say, I was going to try to say that word that Jonas said, but I'm not going to embarrass myself. But they even tell us that you can have a husband and a wife, a father, a son, a sibling, a child, whatever, someone that you live with can have it, and the other person not get it or get it. It has to do with the immune system and all those other different kind of things. So there's just a lot of factors involved, and I don't think we want to be accusatory in any way. If we had some guys acting irresponsibly, we would be all over that, Mark. Absolutely. We haven't found that at all with our guys. Our guys have been really focused on trying to really be the best football team they can be, and that's what I'm proud of those guys for that.
Hey, John, this is Jameson. I have a much more specific question, I promise. Marquise Brown, after the game, tweeted, "What's the point of having soldiers when you never use them?" What was kind of your reaction to that, and have you talked to him since?
I haven't talked to him about it yet. It's been tight turnaround, obviously, with all the work we're doing. But I did text him about it, and he took it down. And we'll just leave it at that for now, and see where it goes. But I'll tell you this: he did play the game like a soldier. He was fighting very hard out there, blocking and running routes, and had obviously big touchdown catch, almost another one right before that. So I like the way he was fighting. I don't disagree with the fact that if he's saying he's a soldier, but I promise you we're trying to use all of our guys. He knows that. Probably a little frustrated, but he's not a selfish guy. I don't believe he is for 1 second. If he was, he wouldn't play as hard as he did or be the good guy that he is around the building every single day. So I have a lot of trust in him. And the fact that he took it down, I appreciated that.
All right, we'll end it there to the media corps. Thank you, and to Dr. Harbaugh, we appreciate your time.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.